Hey guys, today I'm going to be teaching you all about how to keep live plants. Now, live plants might be a little bit trickier to keep than fake plants, but many fish interact with them more naturally, and in many people's opinions they look much better. It's also healthier for your tank as they do filter the water. So I'm going to be teaching you guys how to keep them. So here I got a crypt and an Amazon sword and an Anubias. These are probably the 3 best plants that any beginner could have. And this is with no CO2. Because if you're like me and you don't want to wire up some crazy CO2 device, then these are 3 plants that you can easily keep with no CO2. Before I get into how to take care of these plants, I just want to tell you guys something. When you're about to put your plant in your fish tank that you just bought, I'd recommend looking on the bottoms of these leaves and in your roots for clusters of snail eggs. So as you see in here, you probably noticed, I got 2 large snails in here. Pretty sure they're ram's horn snails, but I'm not 100% sure. Now, the reason that you really don't want to get snails in your fish tank is they breed very, very rapidly. So within a month, you can end up with, a lot more snails than you started with. And they come in as eggs on your plants, and then they hatch. Then those have babies, and they have babies and babies and babies. They multiply rapidly. They produce a lot of waste. They will clean your fish tank a little bit, but you want to be careful you're not bringing in any snail eggs. That being said, sometimes it's just unavoidable. And if you want to get rid of those snails, there's plenty of videos on how to do that. I personally like them, but I have a cichlid, so when these overpopulate eventually, I'll just feed them to my cichlid and my loaches. Alright, now we're going to get into how to take care of these plants. Now, everyone knows that plants need light to survive, so you're going to need a fairly bright light. Now, this depends on the type of plant. The plants I have here are moderate to high light plants, the sword, the crypt, the Anubias. So, we like to run the lights for about 12 hours a day. That's me personally. This isn't a very bright light. It's one of the dimmer lights. So, I don't have any algae issues, but if you experience algae issues, cut down your lighting and just keep doing that accordingly. And depending on the type of plant you have, you're going to need to light it differently. Now, the way I like to fertilize my plants is with these root tabs right here. We have some API root tabs. As you can see, I use one a weekend, and I put it in the gravel. That's how you work. They're little pellets, and you bury them in the gravel right by the roots of your plants. Your plants are going to absorb that nutrients, and they're going to grow nice and big. That being said, this is a 20-gallon tank. I put a root tab in here once a week. If you have more plants, you'll definitely have to put more root tabs in. But you don't want to put too many root tabs in, as too many can put too much nutrients in your water and possibly make the water dangerous for fish. Something you want to worry about is if you have an Anubias or any other rhizome plant, you do not want to bury the rhizome. Now, if you don't know what a rhizome is, don't worry, because I'm about to teach you. You see that stem right there at the bottom of the plant that I'm zooming in? It almost kind of looks like a pepper. You don't want to bury that. If you bury the rhizome, the plant will die if it's a rhizome plant. The crypt here doesn't have a rhizome. Neither does the sword. So we just bury that up to the roots, cover all the roots. These are root feeding plants. A common thing to do with Anubias is actually tie it around a rock, or maybe use some aquarium safe glue and tie it onto a decoration. But yeah, just don't bury those rhizomes. And as you guys see here, I have pea gravel in my tank. So you actually don't need sand for every single type of plant. A lot of guys like to use fluval stratum. That's like, you don't need to put root tabs in then, because it's like a naturally organic type soil for your tank. But a lot of people have pea gravel, and you can keep plants in this stuff. You just got to do a little bit of research as to what plants you can have, but you can have about most normal beginner plants do fine in pea gravel. Alright, so this was just a general rundown on how to keep plants in your fish tanks, but if you guys have any more specific questions, you can put them in the comment section. I'll be sure to get back to you guys quickly. And take care.